Okay then, let me show you what I'm up to now. I got everything wrapped up with a idle air motor and throttle body and stuff like that, and this car does run better. Still not starting up and staying at a stable idle every time, so probably gonna have to do a little bit more with that, but it is improved, so I'm happy about that part. So what I'm on to now is I'm replacing some light bulbs in the dash, and specifically it's the light bulbs that go behind. You got a panel here which I've popped out, and I've got one here which I've actually had removed because I was working on something else there. But this is that one. It's got 3 switches that go in it for different things, and you got on the back here you've got a receptacle for a bulb, and this one's the same way. It's got one bulb here, and what happens is these bulbs burn out after a period of time. Imagine that. And Volvo, helpfully, their Department of Complication got involved in this and made this so that, trying to get this in focus a little bit, wants to always focus on everything, but there we go, I think, maybe. Anyway, they made this so you can't just pop the bulb out and replace it like all the rest of them. You can't do that, that's too easy. So they made it, if you can see on the little brass contact, there's looks like a piece of a wire. What it is this is one of these bulbs that just has a long lead, 2 long leads on it, and you got one that's attached to one side and one's soldered to the other side. So what you have to do is you have to break these leads off and pop the bulb out. And I went to Radio Shack. I actually found the Radio Shack still open around here, and bought some bulbs for this, and they're not exactly the same bulb, but they're $1 a piece as opposed to buying the whole unit that goes in there for ever how much money. So they'll work. They're this is what they are, and here's the part number. It'll come into focus. Come on now, 272-1092, packet 2, and I bought 6 packs of them because Radio Shack's fortunes have not been too good lately. So if they go under, then I need to have these bulbs. You can see it's got the long leads made onto it, so that's how you replace these. And this applies to other cars too. I had a Honda a couple years ago that used that kind of bulb in the back of the odometer light. It's known to burn out, so it's not a new thing here. I think this one, it's got both these burned out, and then it's got one of them in this HVAC, yeah, okay, whatever. This temperature battle here is one of them burned out, and I think that all of them in this radio are burned out. So I got some bulb replacement ahead of me. But I'm going to do these 2 and get those going, and I'll hopefully show you the finished product a little bit later on. But I got to get my soldering iron out and do that. I was hoping that, let's see if I can get that thing kind of went back in the back there a little bit. I was hoping I could just weasel this one out without having to take this whole panel out, because these switches helpfully come out from the front. They don't come out from the back. There it is. Yeah, so you're just going to unplug the connector and take this thing out. So, and then you'll solder your bulbs in. So I guess I'll take a little shot of that when I get it done. See them. Okay, man, I got this bulb out here, and it wasn't really anything to it. I'll show you the one. Our lighting sucks in here, but let's look at this one more time if I can get the camera to focus adequately. Alright, you see that's just kind of, I thought that was soldered on there, and it may well be, but I tried to remove it, heating it up and desoldering it, and it didn't work. So the secondary approach I took was I took my pick, curved pick, and I just raked against that piece of wire remnant right there where it's, well, the piece of lead there, and it just popped off there, so I just pulled it right out. So now I'm gonna put my new bulb in to the socket here, and essentially I'm just going to run the leads one on each side just the way the other ones were, and I'll have excess, so I'll solder them on and then I can clip off the excess. So nothing to that. And these are a smaller bulb. I can tell already it's a quite a bit smaller bulb, but I think it's going to work out okay. It may be a little bit dimmer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just position these so they're not obscured by this black holder too much, and we'll just see how it works out. That's all you can do. See you then. Okay, I got one finished product here, and soldering it in, that ain't gonna happen. So here's what I did. Had a lot of lead left on those, so I just if we can see there, kind of the camera focus in there, I just took the lead and I just wrapped it around securely, and that's gonna have to work because there's no way that you can get soldered that thing to heat up far enough and solder it and do a good job and blah blah blah. So the bulb is, I left the bulb out about this far. That's about roughly equivalent to what it was, so we'll try it out and see if it works. Now I know that's probably going to offend some of the Volvo and European car purists that are probably going to say, well, you know, you just should have went to the dealer and got these. They're only like $12 for these sockets and bulbs, and you know, you just do a clean install. You don't have to do things like that. You know, you just. I don't know why we just have to keep telling you you're not working on a Ford or a Dodge or some kind of crap car like that. This is a Volvo, and you just can't do redneck shortcuts like that. That's what they'd say. I'm sure I'll hear that at some point. You know, if you just can't afford to go to the dealer and buy the right bulbs, those factory correct bulbs, then you just don't need to own a Volvo. Yeah, pal, whatever. Okay, I'm going to try this one out and see how it works. Okie dokie then, it's real dark and scary out here, so let's go in here and try out our homegrown light bulb replacement project. I know you can't see anything, but you're about to. And there we are. So that should work great. And got one, like I said, I think one's burned out in there. That's not lighting up as well as it should, so deal with that. Okay then, continuing right along with this bulb replacement saga, we're on to the climate control panel here, and this one I was prepared for another nightmare because I had to take the top off this to get access to this stuff, and here's the top to it. It's not hard to get it loose. You just have two small screws on each side, two here on that right side and two on this side, and then you got one up here at the top which goes in right there, and then on the same thing on the opposite side. And you also have on each side a small tab right there that has to be bent outward to get this to come out, because it kind of does a little bit of a sliding thing here, I think. So anyway, this is the guts to this thing, and I was prepared, like I said, for another nightmare of having to deal with those little miniature bulbs. But believe it or not, when I got in here, there's 4 bulbs in here. There's 2 for the buttons on the front, 1 each for each button, which you got an air conditioner button here that lights up, and then you have a recirc button here that lights up. So that's the 2 red ones. And then you have 2 illumination bulbs. That's the 2 black ones. Like that. And they just simply socket the screws in here. And go figure, these bulbs are the kind, these are these Type 74 bulbs. Thought I laid one out here someplace. Yeah, there it is. There's one of the blown ones. Oops. Guess I hit my button there, didn't I? Anyway, so this is one of the blown ones. This is just the kind of wedge base bulb, just pulls right out. So somebody please explain to me, if you know, have a theory of why in the world Volvo chose for 2 bulbs in there to use the kind that you have to solder in or otherwise attach, and for the rest of them they use the ones just plug in like this. I mean, I don't know how people in Sweden, you know, their culture or how the way they think about design processes and things, but I just can't quite understand that, where they would say, well, these two bulbs here behind these rows of switches on the dashboard, we don't need to have a replaceable wedge type bulb in those. We need to fix those so they almost never come out, and you have to go order a special bulb for that one with a socket. We can't just do this. We have to put a more difficult type of arrangement in there. Now I know I'm just a dumb American, and maybe I'm too used to cars that you can just, like I said, you can just unscrew a socket and pull a bulb straight out. Maybe that's something you know, maybe that's a dumb design. I think people sometimes feel like that complicated things are a mark of exclusivity. I don't know. Maybe they think that, but I think it's silly. I think you should have just put these in the other two bulbs out there in the car that I had to hardwire in, you may as well say. So I don't understand. I don't get that. You know, why would it design? I don't know. I'm shocked and traumatized by it, I guess. I don't know, guys. I guess they had a reason for it there in Sweden when they designed that car. But I fixed it, and I'll fix this. And keep in mind that these bulbs here, this one for the recirc button and the one for the air conditioner, have these little gels on them to color the lights. So be sure you carefully take those off and change them. So, okie dokie then. I see my camera battery's getting about dead, so I'm gonna go put it on the charger and put this thing all back together. See you then. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Well, I thought I was out of the woods on this control panel, but it's turned out I got it all put back together and the top put back on it. And when I took it out to the car to try it out, I still had a dead light right here, so I had to take this socket out, take it loose, take the bulb out again, fool the leads on it, put it back in. It worked. So then I got back out to the car, this time without putting the top back on it, and notice when I turned everything on that this button here lights up from the back, this little symbol here, and then this one wasn't lighting up. So took a look, sure enough, down, if I can hold it up, down in the back down here on the circuit board, that's the illumination for that button. That's not the orange thing I told you about, that's that. 6 lights in this thing, can you believe that? And then there's the one for the right side, that's the air conditioner button, which is working. So had to take that thing out and wrap another bulb into it. See my neat job there. Use another one of my Radio Shack bulbs and put it all back together, and it seems to work now. Went outside and tested it. So I've been virtually the whole evening working on just these light bulbs, and I'm not done with them. I still got to do, I think it's got bulbs out in the seat heater switches, which are down in the console, and there ain't a light one in the radio, so I guess I'll get to take that apart and see what's going on in there tomorrow. But I'm going to put this back together and throw it back in. So, whew, blown light bulbs, gotta love them. Okay, I am back replacing bulbs some more today, and this time I had to pull all this junk out to get this cover lifted up so I could replace this bulb right here. This is the bulb that lights up the two heated seat switches. I have one of the switches out. I was looking at it, I thought at first it would have a bulb in it. It does not. It does not have a bulb in it. It's just got another one of these, I call them a light distribution tube here. Probably can't really see that too well. There's part of it right here, but the bulb just goes in the back of that thing down there and then lights them both up. So you can see there. Got my new bulb put in. So it's those good old Radio Shack bulbs I've been using a bunch of. So we'll stick that back together, and then I guess I'm going to tear into these audio units, the radio and the tape player, to see what's going on with their lights. So there it is.